Good morning, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? I am fine. It's funny, I see shows where they're talking about, I don't even know it's Comex. I'll show you these women, and they're like just finding out now that the gold is suppressed, and it's, again, a silver squeeze, and they just really don't understand. They finally figure out the market's fixed. And they're going, that should be illegal. It's like, duh, it is illegal. My point is, please be careful who you're listening to, or at least check with me. Okay, if you're watching some guy do a technical analysis, which means he's looking at a chart, I wouldn't listen to him. They don't know what they're doing. See, the difference between me and those guys, I explain why the chart moves. All they're doing is looking at the chart going, oh, look, silver's this or gold's this, and look at the charts and look at that. It doesn't work without the variables. This is what I try to teach you, and I've taught you this over and over and over, although I guess it still isn't seeking through, so we'll keep teaching it. If Joe Blow is a portfolio manager, a fund manager, it could be Larry Fink. He doesn't know what he's talking about. If he's looking at a chart, well, look at the chart, it's doing this, or the gold silver ratio, which doesn't mean anything. Why do you listen to it? Oh, well, the silver stocks are going to go up because look at this guy who we have no idea who it is. He's a salesman, and he's got a chart, which he doesn't understand the variables, doesn't understand bricks, Comex collapsing. And then you listen to it. You go, oh, well, that's fine. I'm going to buy, silver stocks because this guy who I don't know, who I've never listened to, who I can't communicate with, shows me a chart where it's going up. Well, first of all, the stock market is more fixed than Comex. Okay, it'll go down because they'll short the market. Hi, David. How are you today? It'll go down because of the market. So please be careful about listening to a Peter Schiff who is clueless about Austrian economics. He's a salesman. He sells gold, so he wants you to buy gold. All right, you don't need him. Do you listen to Jim Reichert's? Why? Or Rick Rude? Why? You don't need those guys. They don't know what they're talking about. Just very careful. That's why we listen to Mark McGuire and Egon, because they do know what they're talking about. Now, I know what I'm talking about, so I can smell the rats and go, don't listen to them. This is I do. I would never follow anybody that does charts. And I don't like when Mark McGuire does the charts. Because if you're just looking, why you're missing the why. Why is the silver going up or the gold going up, or why is Intel going up or Amazon going up? And you have to have the reason. Why? What do you think of the games yesterday? Well, I watched Cincinnati, Philly, the highlights, and their highlights are terrible. This woman, you can't even hear her, and they make no sense. I like Joe Burrow, of course, and Chase, and they played the whole first quarter, got 2 touchdowns. That's what I took out of the game. Philly's backup is okay. I never liked him that much at Stanford. I watched Oakland, Seattle go to a tie, which was good because we had Oakland in our teaser. But I'm not an Aiden O'Connell fan. And then Milrose looked pathetic. He's coming in to run. Yeah, that'll work. But as soon as they play them for the run, then he can't throw the ball, which is Milrose's problem, which is the same as Lamar's. So it's hard to say. Seattle, I don't think their defense will be any good. I'm not sure their offense with, I don't know. I haven't seen the box scores yet. If Darnold played, he should have played. Darnold's not at the level where he can not be in a preseason game. So if Milrose was a starter, you wouldn't play him. Boy, does he need work. Baltimore beat Indy. Yeah. Did Richardson get hurt? I saw a big hit on him, and I don't know if he got hurt or they just took him out. Daniel Jones, what are you going to say about that? Baltimore plays very seriously in the preseason, so that would have been a good bet, although I didn't take it. So yesterday I had Oakland way back plus 7.5, and then they went 4.5 point favorites, and I kind of shied away from taking them plus 1.5, but I already had them in at 7.5. I had Cleveland, and I switched to Cincinnati even because Burrow was playing, and Burrow got him 14 points, but that Cincinnati defense is not good. I don't know when Detroit. I got Detroit over 26. I got the Rams and 9. I got Tampa and 9 and San Diego and 9, 9.5, whatever you're getting it at. Yeah, he got hurt, I think. Well, he doesn't want to see. He doesn't. I don't think he really wants to play. I think he's there for the money, and I don't think he cares if he plays football because he hurts his shoulder. He tapped out of a game. He's not sliding. He's taking the hit. Now, I didn't see the hit. I kind of saw him get hit, but I didn't see the play if he was running or scrambling or whatever. But whatever it is, he doesn't understand not to take the hit. And now he's hurt. Now you got Daniel Jones. So we're going to load up against Indianapolis with Daniel Jones. We already see he sucks. I don't know why he's on Indy. Why you're telling me you couldn't get anybody better than that? Really? Why don't they trade for Hooker or Kyle Trask? I don't get it. You still got Hartman out there who's 10 times better than Daniel Jones. Cam Rising, even injured, is better, but Cam Rising retired because he hurt his fingers on the Gatorade, not the knee, but that's why he retired. Tyler Van Dyke, I think, is playing another year in college somewhere. Now, Dylan Gabriel, I don't. They made a big thing about saying he was 4 for 18, which I don't believe, and now he's injured. So I believe he got injured, and I don't know. I don't buy the 4 for 18. I think they're just trying to make him look good, bad, so Prime Junior. But Dylan Gabriel does not go 4 for 18. So we'll go into the box scores of those and just kind of filter it out. But my view is you're dealing with maybe some second stringers. We had Burrow and Chase. We're going to have Mahomes. But again, they're just playing a couple of drives, a couple of series. But what it shows you is how serious Cincinnati is, that they're playing Burrow and they're saying, we're not going to start 0-3 or 0-4. We are going to be right on. And they really shouldn't. They should have beat KC last year when that's terrible passing or roughing the passer, I believe, or it was interference on 4th and 20 to bail them out. This is where the refs are fixed. You can't bail out the team on 4th and 20 with a very bad call, which is what they did. So we will see, but it shows the intensity. When you're playing your starters in the preseason, it's because you want to get ready and you want to win. So we will be all over Cincinnati the first couple of weeks because they'll be way ahead of the game. Cleveland's got to start Prime Junior, and he stinks. I'm sorry. He's horrible. With Prime, he'll probably say, "Oh, it's two-hand touch. You can't tackle my kid. And you got to let him throw the ball so he can look good." We will see. Oakland, they came back. I mean, O'Connell stinks. I don't know who started. Well, let me look at the box scores. Anyway, let's look at Gold. Gold got to 34.03. Then they got 34.01, and it got pushed down to 34.80, and then it got pushed up. I knew we were in trouble when at 10 o'clock it went up to 34.01, and I said, well, it's going to go down because at 10 o'clock, if that number goes up at 9:58, then it goes down at 10, and if that number goes down, it goes up at 10. So we saw the normal shorting at 34.01 and then bought back at 33.84. So it's not much of a jump. It's now 33.88. We did see 34 broke, but they are doing resistance at 34. I don't know why. it makes no sense. But again, the banks are in trouble. And silver 38, 34. It did get back from 36 to 38. They're trying to short it, but there's too much demand. I'll show you these women. They're just a bunch of idiots. I mean, they're like just getting it out. How long have I been doing this? Telling you about gold and silver and COMEX being fixed and all that, and the banks being in trouble. 4 years, 5 years before Alabama, that's for sure. They're just getting it now. Like on today's show, they're just like the lights going on, and we're 5 years ahead of them. It's just frustrating to watch people who, oh, it's illegal what they're doing. Duh, really? Like, and you're just finding this out now. And I love the pet peeve is when, well, she was on Wall Street or he was on Wall Street. Are they a runner? Are they one of these guys that just trades? I mean, they're just salesmen. All Wall Street is salesmen trying to sell and get commissions on real estate trusts, on stocks, on bonds. That's all it is. So anybody on Wall Street, they don't know what they're talking about. You think Larry Fink knows what the fuck he's talking about? He sells houses. These people are not smart people. All right. So 33.88, 38.34. Let's move to baseball, which we finally won with Paul Skeens, and we lost with Miami. But we made one unit because I had Pitt for 3 units, and I had Miami. So Pitt wins 7-0, but I had Pitt not the under because the other pitcher wasn't good, Brady Singer. So it was exactly what I thought. Pittsburgh would hit Singer and Skeens would throw the shutout, and there he goes, 7-0. Let's see if Skeens finished the game. Let's see how many did they let him finish the fucking game. 3, 4, 5, 7-0. And of course not. He pitched 6 innings, 97 pitches in 6 innings, 7 hits, 8 strikeouts, the 1.94 ERA. Then Charlie Sanders, Borberek, and Nicholas. So 3 pitchers with ERAs. Oh, one guy's got a 0, one with the 4.71, and one with the 6.11. So let me ask you this. Would you rather have Skeens with his 1.9 ERA, who's now 7-8, so it's been 20 odd games, or Kay Nicholas, who's 1-0 with the 6.11 ERA, and Borucki, who's got a 4.71 ERA? Why are you doing this? Why are you pulling Skeens? For what? 97 pitches? So what? So he goes to 130. His arm's not going to fall off. And are you actually going to keep Skeens? Or when his contract runs out, he'll go somewhere else. So what are you resting him for? All right. Anyway. So there you go. So let's look at today's scores. Let's look at some picks, and then we'll get into football. We're going to do this fast because I know everybody would rather talk football. I know I would. But Cincinnati at Pitt, we got Chase Burns 0-3 with the 6.04, who's supposed to be pretty good, I think. And Mitch Keller 5-10 with the 3.89. I would probably go back with Pitt today, but I'm betting the pitcher, not the team. Houston and the Yankees, Hunter Brown, 9-5 with the 2.47 against Cam Schittler for the Yanks. We're going to take Houston and the Hunter. Just 2 units. Again, we're just focusing on the pitcher, and then we will look at the streaks. Oakland goes to Baltimore. That was what the ghost to the post, 1976, I believe. Oakland at Baltimore. Stabler hits Dave Casper, my favorite, for a big gain and the winning touchdown. I remember I was laying 4 in that game, and I said, fuck, I'm going to lose because Oakland will kick the field goal and win by 3. I go, there's no way they're going to cover 4. And then he hits on a end zone pass to Dave Casper, and they win by 6. Who wins by 6 in overtime? No, only Oakland. JT Jin, 2-3 with the 4-2-8 against Domingo Suganano, 8-5 with the 4-4-2. We don't care. California at Detroit. Detroit's on another 5-game losing streak. Detroit minus 300. Kyle Hendricks 6-8 with the 4.59. Tarek Skubal 11-3 with the 2-1-8. So we'll take Detroit because Skubal is pitching. Otherwise, we wouldn't touch them. We'll go 3 units. Kyle Hendricks was good on the Cubs, but 6-8 with the 4.59. See, Detroit will hit this guy and say, "Look how good the hitting is, and look how good." Yeah, because this guy's a minor leaguer. Well, maybe Hendricks isn't, but most of these guys they're playing are terrible. So look for Skubal. Now, why they don't play him all 9? They need the game, and that they won't play him all 9. And all of a sudden, Detroit's 66-50, and Cleveland's 59-55. So they're 1-5, 6. Oh no, they're 7-5. So there's 6 back Cleveland. And Cleveland's knocking at the door. Now Detroit has a little pressure. We have to win. So I would play Skubal the whole game because you have to win this game. Over under, I have no idea. Miami at Atlanta. I'd rather see Georgia against Miami. Miami 135-8. Edward Cabrera 5-5, 3.24. Bryce Elder, related to Lee Elder, the golfer, 4-8, 6.03. Who cares? Cleveland at the White Sox. Cleveland's been hot, 145, 8.5. Tanner Bibby, 7-9, 4.51. Aaron Shivaldi for the White Sox, 3-6 with the 3.99. But on the White Sox, that's pretty good. I'm going to lay away from that game. Philly, Texas. Christopher Sanchez, 10-3, the 2.40 against Merrill Kelly, 9-6, 3.22. We're going to go Philly over 7.5, even though both teams hit too well. Merrill Kelly, 9-6, 3.22. Probably should be an under, but it's 7.5. Philly's hitting well. Sanchez probably gets the win, but Kelly, so yeah, probably an under, but I'll bet it over. I'm confused. KC against Minnesota. KC's also only 8 back of Detroit. Minnesota's not that much farther. They just took 2 out of 3 against Detroit. So Minnie's playing good, even though they let everybody go. Minnesota 135, 8.5. Seth Lugo, 8-5, 3.06. Joe Ryan, 10-5, 2.83. We're going to go under in this game. Under 8.5. 2 units. 2 of their better pitchers, Lugo and Ryan. The JETS, Jets, play Milwaukee. Milwaukee 140-8. Milwaukee's hotter than shit. Ooh, what a game. Kenya Senga, 7-3, 2.31. Brandon Woodruff, 3-0, 2.22. We go under. Milwaukee's hot. So let's play Milwaukee, and then let's play Milwaukee under 8. And we'll go 2 units there. The Cubbies against St. Louis. The Cubbies 158.5. Matthew Boyd used to play in the Tigers, 11-4, 2.34. Michael McGreevy. But every time I like to bet on Boyd because he's got this 11-4. He never shows up. At St. Louis, I'm not going to touch him. Colorado goes to Arizona. Arizona's been playing Barrett, and then they started playing a little better against San Diego. Arizona 259. Austin Coomber 0-5, 6.18. Zach Gallen 8-2. Let's go over. Oh no, it's not at Colorado. Well, I'm still going to go over. Arizona over 9, 2 units. Boston goes to San Diego. Do I have a football in New England? No, I don't have anything there. Walker Bueller 6-6, 5.74. He sucks. Nick Pivetta 11-2, 3.7. We're going San Diego. 3 units. Tampa Bay goes to Seattle. Seattle 127.5. Drew Rasmussen 9-5 with the 2.81 against Luis Castillo 8-6 with the 3.22. Seattle doesn't hit as well at home. We'll go under here. Seattle, we got 2 pretty good pitchers. Seattle under 7.5. We'll go 2 units. Toronto gets the Dodgers at LA. The Dodgers 149. Max Scherzer. He pitched pretty good last game. A couple games ago against Detroit, he sucked. Last game, he fits pretty good against Clayton Kershaw. Very interesting. 5-2 with the 3.29. We'll go under in this one. This is Toronto under 9, 2 units. Toronto has a bunch of hitters. The Dodgers have a bunch of hitters, but neither of them are hitting. And if you're not, I mean, look at this. Toronto is 68-48, and the Dodgers are 66-49. So everybody's saying, "Oh, the Dodgers won the World Series before the season started." Toronto's got a game and a half better. In our last game, Washington goes to the 49ers. Frisco 155, 8.5. Jake Irvin 8-6, 4.89. K Wang Tang 0-12 with the 13.50. It's hard to go over with the Niners. They just don't have hitting. They only hit 2 or 3 hitters, so we'll pass that. So we got Houston, Hunter Brown 2 units. Detroit, Skubal 3 units. Philly. Very confused on that. Should be, you can't take Philly, but it should be. You got 2 good hitting teams. Philly and Texas. So we're going to go over 7.5 and hold our breath as Sanchez with his 2.40. See, but they killed Detroit, but Detroit's really not that good. But you think, oh, well, they did well against them. Detroit's Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know what team you're going to get. We got Minnesota, KC under 8.5. We got Milwaukee. Under 8. Arizona over 9. San Diego, Seattle under 7.5, and Toronto under 9. Most of these are played because of the pitcher. Although Philly were doing contrarian there. Any streaks? See the streaks come and go. There's no streak. Toronto with the 3. We've got Detroit on a 2-game losing streak. Cleveland on a 3-game winning streak. The White Sox on a 4-game losing streak. And then we've got Seattle on a 4-game win streak. We played them under. And that's it. So really a couple of 4-game streaks and a couple of 3, and that's it. So there's a lot of 1s and 2s. So it ebb and flows. In the National League, we've got the Jets on a 4-game losing streak. We've got Milwaukee on a 6-game winning streak. They just keep going. They got the best record. So they must be the best team. They have the best record. 70-44 on a 6-game winning streak. That's why we took Milwaukee, but the real play should be under. Nothing else there. And on a 4-game losing streak, Colorado. So that's all you got there. So, a lot of games, but it's just based on mostly the pitchers. We're using that theory. Milwaukee's the only one on a good winning streak, so we did bet them, but I knew they were on a winning streak. They've been hot. They had that 11, 12-game win streak. Then they lost like 1 or 2, and now they're on another 5-game win streak. All right, so let's go into preseason football. Cleveland at Carolina today. Carolina 6.5, 33.5. Again, Prime Jr., who is so not ready for the pros. He's such a bad quarterback. They made Carolina 6.5, so we'll see. I mean, if Bryce Young's playing, then we'll go under. Probably an under. Cleveland won't do anything in this game, but it is, preseason. Your 3rd and 4th strings. Detroit goes against Atlanta. Detroit 3.5, 33.5. I have no idea why they're favored. I like the over in the game at 26.5. Detroit's defense sucks. Hutchinson, he's ready. Oh, look, he's practicing. Yeah, so did Cam Rising, practiced every week. They didn't let him in the game. Atlanta, Penix's backup should be Cousins, should be playing to try to get a job somewhere else because he's nowhere near as good as Penix. You hope Penix plays. You want him to play. That'll help because we're going over. But Detroit with no defense, very little offense. See, they're blaming the quarterbacks, Kyle Allen and Hooker. It's the offensive coordinator is the problem. He stinks. You played the 4-string San Diego defense, and you got 7 points. Are you kidding me? All right. So we'll see if Penix plays. He should. He's only played 3 or 4 games in the real, so he get him out there. Do what you do with Burrow. Burrow wasn't really under a lot of pressure. He play actioned a little bit. They had a running back, and they got the Tajay Brooks. Look for Cincy to be very explosive and go over with them a lot, and then we'll see how their defense looks. So we're over in Detroit's game. Washington at New England. New England 6.5, 34.5. I don't know. I can't imagine New England beating anybody, even a high school team, by 6.5. Washington, though, needs Penix or needs Daniels. So we'll if we hear he's playing, we'll take him. But again, it would just be the first quarter. The Giants at Buffalo. Buffalo 2.5, 36.5. I thought the Giants were favored. All of a sudden, now I know Josh Allen's not playing, but let's see who their backups are. Once we see who the backups are, then we can look into next week. Again, these are very small bets because we cannot trust third and fourth stringers. We do not bet third and fourth stringers. We bet the stars. Hence the bet on Joe Burrow yesterday. So Buffalo 2.5, 36.5. I have no idea. We'll have to see who plays. Houston goes to mini 3, 37.5. I would assume J.J. McCarthy will get out there. He has no experience. He's not very good, so he needs work. But if they keep him out, then we're going to hammer the under when they play the Bears in week 1. Houston, they got in a couple of injuries, I guess, yesterday, a lineman or running back or receiver or something. They have are they going to go with Davis Mills? Oh, a winner at Stafford. I think he won 3 games at Stanford. Terrible, but he's got experience. So look for that. 2 good defenses. If this was real, we would bet this game under, but we don't know. Pitt goes to Jacksonville. Are we going to see Aaron Rodgers? Are we going to see DK Metcalf? Are we going to see the Iowa running back who's really good, Johnson, and the defense? So we don't know who we're seeing. Pitt's backup, I don't know who their backup quarterback is or who we'll see. Jacksonville, they're terrible. If Trevor Lawrence played, they're still terrible. So all they're saying is the Colorado kid who wants to play both sides of the ball will be playing both sides of the ball. What a waste that is. He's not really that good of a receiver. I don't know how good he is at cornerback. He won the award because he played both, and he was on Primetime's team, but he's way overrated. Very much, you don't waste your draft pick on a cornerback or a receiver, whatever position. You don't waste your 2 or 3 pick on that. Terrible pick. Dallas goes to the Rams. Why is Dallas favored by 2.5, 33.5? I like the Rams here. Stenson Benson and whoever else. I'm just betting on Sean McVay over Marty Schottenheimer. So we get LA in 8.5 as a home dog. I like that. I mean, you see Seattle and Oakland, the game ended in a tie. Why are we playing ties? Why aren't we continuing? Tennessee, we don't want to get people hurt. Maybe they should all fucking play tennis. Tennessee at Tampa, Tennessee 3, 32.5. Why is Tennessee favorite over Tampa? In Tampa, we're betting on Kyle Trask, a very good Florida quarterback who Baker's look lights out because Kyle Trask is that good. So I like Kyle Trask. Hopefully he gets the first half. Tennessee has no quarterback, so it's a very strong home dog for me. KC at Arizona. Look, Mahomes is playing, and that line moved to KC minus 2.5, 39. We did play KC plus 7.5 yesterday. Once we knew Mahomes was playing, again, we're ahead of the crowd. That's normal for us. So go with KC. Now they're 2.5. Still go with Mahomes. Kelsey will probably play. Look for them to be serious. They lost the Super Bowl. Arizona's terrible. I doubt Murray will play. Murray really doesn't do anything for as good as he is. The Jets is against Green Bay. The Jets are playing their starters. They're playing Fields. So Green Bay's a 3-point favorite. 38.5 over them. What's Field going to do? Run around? He can't throw. He cannot loop the ball in. They said that last year. So if there's a guy in the end zone, there's a defender in front of him. He can't throw a high ball that drops in. He can only throw it on a line. This is your quarterback. The fact that the Jets are using him is more amazing. So Green Bay, we'll see. They'll probably be pretty good. I'm going to go over here. So we're going to play KC with the Green Bay over 32.5. All right. That's who we're playing KC with. Malik Willis, but I like the coach of Green Bay's a good offensive mind, so I think they will go up and down the field on the Jets and score a lot. And I don't see Fields doing much. Denver goes to the 49ers. Denver, 6.5, 34.5. I doubt Bo Nix would start. Purdy, we know we won't see McCaffrey. I don't get this line. 34.5. I don't know. I think Denver can win their division. And I hear some guy, well, what did they do last year? They beat a bunch of, bad teams. Okay. But they should have beat KC and should have beat San Diego, made the playoffs. They're better this year. Oh, Greenlaw's always injured. I don't know about that. So he's going to get injured now. Denver's got one of the top 3 defenses in the league, and you know how much I love that. And Bo Nix is much better. So, he didn't like Bo Nix. Oh, who is this guy? Some idiot. This is why you got to be careful. You can't just listen to somebody and just go, oh, yeah, he must be smart. He must know what he's talking about. No, these guys are idiots. So the Niners, I don't know. I'm not going to play it. There's no reason to play it. Miami goes to the Bears. The Bears are 35.5. Caleb absolutely stinks. He's not getting the plays. Tyler Badgett is better, but he'll probably get the work. So I think that'll do. Tag's terrible. I don't know who their backup. I am running away from this game. And New Orleans is at San Diego, and New Orleans is a 1-point favorite. So I love San Diego. I bet it at 3 + 9, and it's down to 1. San Diego looked really good playing Detroit, and I think they'll be on fire today or Sunday. All right. Everything's on like the NFL Network. See, that's the problem. You want people to pay for preseason games, but there should be a game on Fox or NBC or CBS this weekend. Normally, let's see if we got NFL Network. See, they don't say if they're not on NFL Network, but I'm sure CBS and Fox will be showing something. The NFL Network's a terrible decision because it blocks people from watching, and it'd be like me saying I'm only on for people who are subscribers, and then all the people that aren't subscribers can't see. That's incredibly stupid. I want as many people to watch as I can. So I'm helping. I'm a helper. All right. Preseason. Baltimore 24, Indy 16. Philly 34, Cincy 27. Tanner McGee looked like a superstar, which means Cincinnati's defense sucks. Seattle and Oakland tied at 23. Oakland at the last 2 seconds tried a 40-yard field goal or 45, and it was blocked. They should have won. All right, let's go into the box score. The most important thing that we need to look at. So the Ravens jump right out, 14-6, 21-9 at the half, and that's it. Anthony Richardson injured as Colts fall. Poor Anthony Richardson, he's hurt. But he doesn't want to play, so he purposely gets hurt. Because if he's hurt, he doesn't have to play. All right, box scores. All right. In the Daniel the Anvil Jones, 10-21 for a whopping 144 yards, 1 sack, quarterback rating of 70, which to me doesn't mean shit. Riley Leonard from Notre Dame and Duke, who's much better than Daniel Jones, 12 of 24, 92 yards, 1 interception. All right. Now, he wasn't much of he never had big stats at Duke and at Notre Dame. It wasn't like he threw for 30 touchdowns. No, he was always more of a runner. So when they get towards the goal line, he'd run it in. He wouldn't throw it in. And Anthony Richardson, 2 of 3 for 21 yards and 1 sack. And that's probably what knocked him out of the game. So you can't rely on Richardson. I'd say the best quarterback's Riley Leonard. I'd be more scared if Riley Leonard plays than Daniel Jones, who we know stinks. Daniel Jones, 10 of 21, 47%. Riley Leonard, who can't throw, 12 of 24, 50%. That just shows you that. Baltimore, Devin Leary, I believe from NC State. Not that good. 3 of 12 for 43 yards. Oh, my God, is he bad? 1 interception, 1 sack. This guy sucks. Cooper Rush, who I really like from Central Michigan and Dallas, 2 of 4, 50 yards, 50%, 16 yards, 1 interception, and got sacked. Cooper Rush is much better than Devin Leary. Cooper Rush is better than Lamar as a quarterback. So I would rather have him. You win games with Cooper Rush. He doesn't make mistakes. All right. Rushing, Indy, Riley Leonard. There you go. 4 for 34, a 21-yarder. Herbert, I don't know who this is. 7 of 29, a 17-yard run. Giddens, 6 of 17. Where do they find these guys? And Goodson, 4-11. If I haven't heard of them, they're not. They're terrible. Baltimore, K. Mitchell, 9 of 68, 23 yards and a touchdown. D. Johnson. Is that Dennis Johnson from the Celtics? 18 of 57 with 11. Now, here is the best running back who nobody knows, Rashad Ali from Marshall. This guy is outstanding, extremely hard to tackle. 9 for 37 with a 19-yarder and a touchdown. I would get Henry out of the game in some situations to bring in Ali. Ali's very good. What a steal. And Baltimore picks him up. So really good there with Henry. You got to give Henry a blow, but I'd get Ali in the game, at least in the passing game. Receiving, I don't know any of these. Treadwell, Mitchell, Woods, Alou, Mallory. No wonder Indy sucks. Their receivers are terrible. Baltimore, Wester, Wallace, Kohler, Johnson, Miller, Kirkwood, Washington. Ali didn't catch and Wade. So what you take out of it is Riley Leonard is we can bet on Riley Leonard. Indy, Daniel Jones sucks. Richardson's hurt again and going to be hurt. So you can't really bet on Indy. You can bet on Indy over because Richardson can run, but he can't throw. Daniel Jones is terrible. If he's the starter, we're just bet against him. And Riley Leonard, I'd be more apt to maybe play the over in the game because he runs a lot to see. Philly, 34, Cincinnati, 27. Let's go inside the numbers, as only the professor can do. So Cincinnati goes right out 14-7, and then in the second quarter, the Eagles score 17. That was it, and it was pretty much even after that. And let's go through it. So Joe Burrow, a bad day. 9 of 10, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. 1 to Chase, 1 to somebody else, a tight end. The Riddler, 7 of 16 with 1 touchdown for 91 yards. And Jay Browning from Washington, who sucks, 6 of 14. When you go 6 of 14 in a preseason game, you're pretty bad for 62 yards and 1 interception. So just hope Burrow doesn't get hurt. If they got to go to Riddler, they're in big trouble. Philadelphia, Tanner McGee from Stanford. He was nothing exciting at Stanford. 20 of 25, 252 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, what do you take out of that? Is Tanner McGee that good? Or is Cincinnati's defense that bad? The defensive coordinator sucks. This is preseason. 20 of 25. I don't care what you're playing. You could be playing like a gym class. You want to win. What is wrong with this defense? 252 yards to Tanner McGee. Then you go to Thompson Robinson, who we like from UCLA, 5 of 8, 56 yards. And Kyle McCord, I recall the name, 1 of 5 for 8 yards. He's nothing. So is McGee that good, or is the defense that bad? I'm going to say the defense is that bad. So we're going to bet over on Cincy because we know we're going to score with Burrow and Chase. That's a given, right? You're in the 30s with those two. Because that was just the first quarter. You let them play all 4. But now Tanner McGee did do a push touch. It's the stupidest play. Why is it still in the game? Oh my God. We're not playing rugby here, fellas. We're playing football. Why do they keep trying to change the sport? Let's not have a kickoff. Somebody might get hurt. Oh my God. Cincinnati, my guy, Tajay Brooks, 10 rushes, 26 yards, the running back. Brown, 5 for 23. Brightwell, 3 of 9. And that's it. So Tajay Brooks, very good running back. So 10 carries, 26 yards, but it's a mix. Then you go to Burrow. So I'm glad he's playing. Philadelphia, okay. So we know that Barkley's not playing. Will Shipley from Clemson, 7 for 48. Had a 38-yarder, which means the rest of them were nothing. S. Powell, 6 of 32. A.J. Dillon, we know, 5 for 27. K. Robinson, 12 for 24. And that's it. So Shipley, he had one lucky run. That's receiving. Chase, 4 for 77, 36-yard touchdown. My man. This is why we bet him. I mean, 4 pass. One was a sideliner, and he turns it into a touchdown because he's so fucking fast and strong. You can't do anything with him. So here's the preseason. This is how serious Cincinnati is. Don't lose that point. They will beat Baltimore the first time they play them. Probably beat Pitt, although it'll be a good game with Aaron Rodgers, and they're going to destroy Cleveland. Tommy Hudson, 6 for 62. Mays, 1 for 48. Is that Willie Mays? C. Jones, Charlie Brown, Tinsley, Jay Burton, Tajay Brooks, 1 for 3 out of the backfield. T. Higgins didn't do anything. All right. Philly, Cooper, Cooper, 6 for 82 with a touchdown. Wilson, 3 for 73. Moran, A.J. Dillon, the running back, 3 for 12. Now, Jay Dotson, I think he's from Baylor, who's really good, and he hasn't done shit. 2 for 27. A. Smith, Jackson, Muse. Shipley caught 1 out of the backfield for 4. So I like Thompson Robinson better than McGee. And then, of course, if Burrow gets hurt, we'll just stop betting Cincinnati. All right, Oakland and Seattle. What the hell happened in this game? We do not like Seattle's coach. And we love Oakland's coach. And the coach is key. All right, Oakland. Aiden O'Connell, 18 of 30, and he sucks. 205 yards, a touch, and 2 picks. C. Miller, I don't know who this is, 6 of 7 for a touchdown. And Geno Smith, I guess, 1 of 3. So he threw 3 passes. See, I like what Coach Pete does. He gets him out there, gets him a little playing time, and gets the nerves over. Who is this C. Miller? Cam Miller. North Dakota State. Again, you're fishing with North Dakota fucking State. Unbelievable. Why do people think these guys are North Dakota State are any good? I'm like, okay, they're not Ohio State. They're North Dakota State. And I haven't seen a quarterback out of there do anything. Oh, yeah, Carson Wentz. Yeah, he sucked. All right. So North Dakota State goes 6 of 7. Aiden O'Connell sucks, and Geno Smith 1 for 3. If they lose Geno Smith, they're in trouble. Seattle, Drew Lock, who's very good out of Missouri, 12 of 22. 147, one touch, one interception. And Milrose gets in the game, 6 of 10 for 61 yards. He looks pathetic. He just wants to run, right? He thinks that he's a running back. Milrose shouldn't get in. Who's there going over? Darnold, who thinks anyway. Darnold had some good games, but when he took the big games against the Lions, he lost. Playoffs, he lost. That's who he is. So you've got to realize that. Drew Lock's not bad. Milrose, what a wasted pick that is. All right, Oakland running the ball. Ooh, Gentry did get in. Okay. Gentry, 3 rushes for -1. Had a 3-yard. So he must have got caught behind the line, but he did get in, three rushes. Zamar White, 2 for 2. McCormick, I love this guy. Sincere McCormick out of UTSA was extremely hard to tackle. Had a lot of good moves. 3 rushes for 11 yards, but he only had 3. Had a 5-yard run. Mozart from the 49ers, 1 for 11. Larry Lobb, 5 for 34, and C. Collar, 9 for 40. Who the fuck is C. Collar? Let's see. He is from college. He went to Lockhaven. Pretty good. He went to fucking Lockhaven. This is your running back. Oh my God. All right. Now you got to watch the guys from Lockhaven and Yale. All right. So they got McCormick and they got Gentry. So they're fine. LA, Oakland. Seattle, Holani, 7 for 61. Milrose. When Milrose is your second leading runner, you got problems. 3 for 38. Jay Wright, 734. Martinez, 6 of 10. Drew Lock, 3 or 4. So who the fuck is Holani? Well, they got the guy from Michigan State. George Holani, he's from Boise State. Season stats. He had 10 yards last year, so he's nothing. Don't call him from Boise like he's Gentry. Receiving, Samuel L. Jackson, 4 for 76, 1 touchdown. Dorsett, Phil Dorsett, pretty good, 3 for 36. Bachman, Runyon, Thomas, Quadre Ismail. I thought he played 20 years ago. Johnson, Thornton. My friend asked me about Thornton. He played for Tennessee. He did nothing. He had like 600 yards and 15, 20 catches. He's probably fast, but doesn't get open and doesn't catch well. Tucker, Shorter, Larry Lobb, Jay Beck, Jay Myers, and Mellett. Brock Bauer did not play as he shouldn't. So, they're pretty weak there. Seattle, D. Young, 1 for 31. Horton, who's that? Holani, the running back. Lang, Aus, 1 for 17. Bobo, I think he played at Georgia, so he might be good. D. Martinez, 2 for 15. So pretty weak passing attack at Seattle. And that's it. So Seattle went up 16-3, and then Oakland 16-10, and 16-13, 23-13, 23-20. And then Carlson hit a 51-yarder with a minute left and then missed a blocked one at the end. So that's your preseason. So Oakland's they got Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers, and I think another Mike Myers from Notre Dame is their tight end. You got Gentry and you got McCormick. McCormick's outstanding runner. You got Geno Smith. Most importantly, you got Coach Pete. Their defense, Crosby, we don't know. We gotta see if the rookie's any good, which he won't be for a while. And then I think they got a cornerback, or did they trade him? I don't remember. So you got problems there. That's your thing. So Oakland probably have a good defense. Coach Pete will get them a good defense. They'll be very competitive against teams like New England, the Jets, Miami. They're going to be in trouble against Denver and Kansas City and Philadelphia and Buffalo and those teams. And they got two Kansas Cities, although they can beat Kansas City because it's a big rivalry. So we will see. Anyway, so that is preseason football. Tomorrow we'll look at tonight's games. You got Cleveland, Carolina, Detroit, Atlanta, Washington, and New England. So you got 3 games tonight. And then we've got a boatload tomorrow. So we will look at this as it appears. We're looking for the quarterbacks. When we see a defense like we saw, when we see Cincinnati giving up 34 to Tanner McKee, they're in big trouble. Seattle and Oakland, that's about what they are, 23 all. Indy sucks. Baltimore, okay, they'll be better. But Baltimore likes winning preseason games. They get out there, they play to win, even without Lamar, but as long as Ali plays. So keep that in mind when you're betting. Indy was like a 7-point favorite because Richardson was playing. What the fuck does that have to do with? He's going to play, the first quarter? And he's not very good anyway? All right. All right. We go to the man, the myth, Mark McGwire. Gold sell-offs engineered, but I'm not sure what that word is. Leverage futures forced delivery. So Bricks buying overwhelms paper gold. Silver escapes London. Bricks drives price higher. So Bricks is rising the gold and silver. Global gold liquidity forces shift in price. So he wants to, because people keep asking him, why is gold going down? Because they don't understand its price fix. So we will watch Mark McGwire. Then I'm going to show you this woman show, and we'll get to that. So Mark's going to explain what the fuck's going on in COMEX and when it's get killed already, which is good because we all want to know what the fuck's going on. All right. Here we go. Mark McGwire, please. Questions, comments. And off.
Yeah, great to be with everyone. Nice to see you again, Shane. Mark? Yeah, excellent questions. And do you know what? It's one of these things where I thought, what I'm going to do here, I get so many questions every time. Like, even though stair step after stair step, we go higher and higher and higher. Yet, intra-month, you get, I see comments of people going, oh, it's all collapsing again. It's all going down. It's never going to end. Well, look, what I wanted to do was, I want to nail this once and for all. I want to actually really go dig into what's happening, how these end of month sell-offs are orchestrated, but also to illustrate how limited the scope of these constructive events are, and how constructive they are in themselves. And understanding them enables us to deconstruct this deliberately planted bearish narrative. We get it. We got to see it. Remember, City coming out and doing it. Hey, they've gone long now. Guess who was on the long side of all the shorts? Yeah. So it's a question of, look, there's always a bearish narrative that either precedes or accompanies these events, and basically we need to weigh up the paper to physical inflection points where bad actors dare not go. Now, outside the siloed world of the CME, LBMA casino, the strong, real physical supply-demand fundamentals are increasingly being determined outside the paper-settled LBMA CME ring fence. So each of these fiat gold selling episodes, one that we've just witnessed again into the end of the month, are simply consolidating the next in a series of higher physically supported stair steps. Each rinse cycle sucks more discounted fiat gold and silver into real physical exchanges. Now, to give an idea of scale of these end of month sell-offs and why they offer stacking opportunities, I'm going to seek to understand the myriad of these questions, asking how these sell-offs are generated. So using the most recent end-of-month paper-driven sell-off as a really good example, I'm going to drill down into the two factors that enable, but most importantly, limit the scope of these synthetically driven sell-offs. Now, we've been drawing a lot of attention to how the only tools left in the LBMA CME gold price suppression toolbox are failing and are ultimately leading to an imminent US Treasury gold price revaluation. Now, the scope of tool number one, which is the gaming of the COMEX exchange for physical premium. In other words, there's a COMEX price and it has a premium versus the Basel III compliant backdoor, which is usually a lower price. So one starts off high and then they kind of marry together as the contracts expire. So I want to go through them because it really confuses a lot of people. And it really should be simple. And I think by using a chart, we'll look at how simple actually it is. Because what's happening is that this tool number one is essentially the COMEX market. We're witnessing the COMEX market, the exit of the liquidity, and that's going into the global physical derivative markets. And then there's a tool number two, which is just it's the in conjunction with this first tool. What you do is drag in, led by the nose, a dwindling number of paper market speculators, lead them by the nose to take the bait, smack into them. Let's look at both of them. And really the first one is the key. For those that don't trade futures, now it's worth just understanding that when a leveraged, unbacked futures contract for gold or silver moves into expiry, as the August contract just did into the end of July for delivery on the 1st of August, it loses all its premium, which is called contango. And then it trades at the same price as the deliverable spot Basel III compliant global facing foreign exchange market, where it's possible to actually take delivery of a physical bar. Now, everything's going to make sense because as the August contract expires, it reached the same price as the deliverable contract. It makes sense because that contract just expired. So traders who don't want to be forced into taking delivery of their August COMEX longs or the shorts being demanded for delivery, they either exit or close and then roll further positions into the next liquid contract. In this case, it was the December contract, which at a rollover price traded $59 higher, a premium to the deliverable spot contract. So that'll all make sense when we look at the charts. Now, the futures premium price over the spot price, what it does is allow for the carry costs. There's insurance costs, there's storage costs, et cetera, until the December contract goes into delivery on the first day of December. So obviously there's a period between August and December. But as a side note, given that gold is only fractionally held, the cost to carry is actually arbitrary. However, with the general mechanics understood, let's dig into the charts to uncover these footprints. Now, this August to December gold futures rollover chart, and this is where the August contract closed, and this is where the December contract opened. So just going to use this as a perfect illustration of how utilizing COMEX position concentration, i.e. the cartel controlling the majority of the chips in the casino, insiders acting for officials were able to immediately, now this is where it closed in the August price closed, immediately spiked up $59, and the officials were immediately able to short sell this $59 quickly all the way down to an exact gap close. So right to the point where it closed on the 30th of July. Now, I just happened to be recording this at the pit open on Wednesday. And really what I'm just doing...
Am I still on? Am I still on? Am I still on? All right. Am I still on? All right, let's assume we didn't get fucked over. Back to Mark.
Make the most of your money with high-yield cash from Robinhood Gold.
Okay, guys, so those of you who've been following me for a while, you've probably heard me talk at some point about my rosacea.
Open on Wednesday.
Sorry about that, but
and really what
I'm not sure if I lost the internet.
Is illustrating when a highly leveraged borrowed futures contract reaches first notice day, which it did right here, in this case, the expiring August contract, which had moved into physical delivery on the 30th of July, it forced holders of these undeliverable 96% leveraged long and short futures positions to either pay up the remaining $320,000 per contract to either take delivery or to exit the expiring August contract, which was trading at this point, a deliverable Basel III spot gold price. Now, what we're going to demonstrate here is, given these futures market positions are not backed by physical gold and are therefore underpriced, they're once again being targeted for delivery by tight for supply global-facing physical exchanges. Now, the next chart I show you is going to provide proof of that, because it happened exactly at this time here. Now, this is the spot contract, not the futures contract. And here is first notice. In fact, the moment you had to pay fully up your last $320,000 rather than just the small amount, 4% that you owned of that contract. So all the speculators would have bailed. Now, here's where the price to cover the shorts that you'd created into this synthetic dip cost $9.30 more than the August contract. And what this meant was that the shorts, the cost for shorts to exit paper gold delivery obligations into the in-delivery August contract was as high as over let's just say $9. Well, in fact, it was slightly over. But meaning that even at $9, it cost a premium of $900 surcharge per contract over August. Now, given all the speculators would have exited long before first notice, and really probably would have gone short into first notice, the downside price overshoot of it was in really the hands of official short sellers stuck. And at this point here, with 20,500 contracts to deliver, so the cost to buy back or deliver was around $18.5 million. Well, there sure as heck wasn't any bullion bank involved in that trade, and it was 100% the Fed, because every bullion bank is long gold for their own book. If anything, they would have been hedged. So when a further out contract rolls onto the board, and that in this case the December contract, that becomes the next most liquid front month, attracting all of the COMEX casino open interest. That's the speculators, etc., etc. So this 96%, these 96% leveraged chips really constitute that open interest. And of course, it has to account for the carry cost to expiry. So in this case, when the December contract was launched in March 2025, and we capture that here, March 2025, then you can see that the carry costs to carry this contract all the way to this contract expiry, which is actually the December contract expires on the 27th. That's first notice day, but rolls into delivery on the 1st. That was well over, well, let's just say $110 an ounce. In this case, it was a high of about $120.60 per ounce. However, these carry costs have legitimate purposes. Obviously, there would be hedging, refining, physical bullion or futures.
I don't know what the fuck he's saying.
Dollars that they'd leverage to cap it, running out of steam. And they failed to get a lower close. So these footprints just capture how these mark-to-market derivative events work. But given the direct liquidity provider feedback of very large central bank sovereign and institutional orders filled into this dip, into the dip ahead and into the dip after, not to forget, each of these events are fully anticipated by the BRICS physical exchanges stealthily converting Western asymmetrically imbalanced paper gold into physical.
So what he's trying to say, which he's so confusing, is basically BRICS knows that the U.S. is trying to keep the price down, and London, who runs the U.S. So they're trying to keep the price down, but they know they're going to keep the price down. So they know at the end of the month, they let the price go down so they can buy it cheaper, but they're going to be there to buy it. So BRICS is waiting to buy when the price drops. That's why you see the price drop near the end of the month. And then BRICS comes in and says, thank you very much. And they buy it. Why are we being stuck at 3,400? That's, again, JP Morgan doing his shit. That's what I can get. Hold on. I got to do my, take my laundry into the dryer. Actually, I didn't have to do that because I don't dry my T-shirts. All these, I just let dry. I don't dry them. I'm just drying them for 5 minutes. All right, so BRICS buying. So BRICS is the buyer. The Fed's trying to get the price down. Why the Fed keeps shorting it, and then they got to pay the delivery, I don't know. He's done a terrible job explaining this. He tries to show it with charts. Charts are very confusing. He needs to explain it the way I explain it. Put it in English, and not with these charts are stupid. Let's just watch a little more of this, and we'll get into silver.
We mentioned tool number 2, and that's quite simple, as is always the case. Momentum-driven upside and downside overshoots Commercials are always on the opposite side. In this case, they were once again 1-to-1 on the long side of the naked short downside overshoot, and there were only two fixes below it, just below 3,300 spot. Now, this is the futures chart, so it shows higher. But it tagged them. Guess what happened? Now, there's tons of explanations of why this happened. It happened because of physical buyers. It happened because China and Russia and the BRICS countries capitalized, had already been loading the boat, waited patiently, as we said they do, and then literally as soon as those central banks' bids were filled, all the fixes thereafter were higher. Just ignore this really short-term stuff. We're just providing ourselves a little context on an intraday basis. So the moment first notice was dusted, the race to short cover the enormous central bank and sovereign demand that had been triggered into the momentum-driven overshoot of the two spot fixes, sub 3,300. So literally it forced the insiders to ring the register on the momentum shorts, also capturing the bullion bank longs, running into bullion bank longs alongside official short covering in excess of what could be laid off against the momentums. Hence, the $18.5 million bill to cover. And whose bill was that? Fed. So, as we've said all along, step by step, higher stair steps are being built into each and every synthetic gamed dip. We'll look at that closer in the BRICS section. And despite all the gaming in silver, no damage done. All it's done is coil silver for a very strong rally into deeply oversold conditions. And we'd be really surprised if 40 wasn't taken out in short order. As soon as we start seeing short covering, we would expect 50-odd, 53 to be the next staging point.
Well, I thought it was 37, then it was 38, then it was 39. Now 40 will get you to 50. He's been wrong every time. It's not really jumped as we thought, or maybe he's not telling us, oh, well, that's where it's headed, but not right now. I'm not sure, but let's see. Let's go right into silver escapes London BRICS. So let's talk silver.
Here. Yeah, with the physical silver trade now largely bypassing loco London, we looked here. Yeah, with the physical silver trade now largely ebbs and flows, of course, short-term stuff. I mean, you can see it all the time. But liquidity providers report physical shortages into very, very robust safe haven demand. That's the underlying driver.
All right, Andrew. Now, silver also got caught up on the OCC bets being marked to market into first notice. Now, what are you seeing here?
Yeah, with the physical silver trade now largely bypassing loco London, we looked at this last time. These same actors in silver futures are still exposed, well, not just silver futures, but also to unallocated spot silver, are still exposed to these Office of the Comptroller, OCC derivative bets, which are being targeted for delivery by the physical markets and have become increasingly difficult for the Fed to cover. And this is evident by way of declining open interest, or let's say the number of chips in play. Now, with the COMEX silver market paper settled liquidity, alongside producer financing initiatives, all leaching out into the Chinese physical exchanges where they're properly benchmarked, silver has now largely escaped the LBMA stranglehold. Now, these same actors are having difficulty in containing silver. Now, the reason it hasn't spiked any higher is that savvy buyers, the controllers, are in China, and they're sitting back and letting the specs and the paper market guys do their thing. They've got control. They can let this run to 50 tomorrow. They can let it run to 100 tomorrow. But it doesn't suit them right now, but it's coming. Now, also, let's not forget, Russia is the 8th largest global silver producer and is estimated to produce about 1,400 tons of silver in 2025. Now, with the Russian central bank and the military complex recently diverting local production to stockpile silver, liquidity providers assess that this additional global offtake is not factored into the current supply-demand silver price, which is already in a deficit. And it is so disruptive, it tips the global supply deficit to force other competitive buying from China, India, and also from consumers who are going directly to the mines to produce, to source supply. Now, while spot silver is not Basel III compliant, it's important to understand this. Yes, it's not Basel III compliant, but it is a deliverable foreign exchange cross against the dollar, pound, euro, etc. And as with silver, and because silver supply is getting priced outside the LBMA's control, the Loco London Global Silver FX Fix, benchmarking the global physical supply demand settlement price, will have to rise to meet this fresh demand. And that's further going to drain Loco London's supply, which is already at critical levels. Now, the silver fix actually benchmarks a direct producer to end user price. And so any discrepancies are simply being arbitraged. And liquidity providers report continued accumulation of underpriced LBMA CME silver is currently now in the BRICS crosshairs, as it have been for some time, but it's stepping up. And very, very, very short term, silver under $38 is unsustainable.
Well, Andrew, that's actually amazing. And now our number one question last week from the community was they want Andy McGwire's BRICS update. What do you have for us today?
Yeah, so following on from our last episode, where we delved into the gold-backed tokenization and financialization of really potentially trillions of real-world assets, and based purely on supply-demand gap-filling, this leads to a fair value price of 8,000 gold, and that is conservative. And as we recently indicated, silver well into the 3 digits. Now, while this tokenization gateway opens up every single commodity to be traded and settled intra-BRICS national currencies, we've been focusing on the West's gross underestimation of BRICS nations' ability to take full control of the gold and silver price setting mechanisms, and how, through the formalizing of the financial infrastructure to support a sufficiently liquid global settlement price, the CME LBMA will increasingly become price takers and not price makers. It's so important to understand this. It is a change in behavior. This is happening under our noses, and as we will see, it's central bank driven. China has actually accrued sufficient physical market liquidity to benchmark a self-arbitraging, fungible, global, sanction and tariff-proof gold price for T+0 settlement. We looked at this kind of last time, but and don't forget, there's some important things that a lot of people don't understand here. China's cross-border payment system, which really you talk to when you look at Bloomberg and all it's really not mentioned. It already interconnects with almost 5,000 banking institutions, and that is growing on a day-to-day basis. Now, this CIPS settlement platform, the CIPS settlement platform, overtook SWIFT transactions back in April. We thought it was May, but it's actually back in April. Now, what is really missed by Western media reporters is that the Chinese yuan and the Russian ruble trade on the Basel III NSFR compliant gold standard blockchain rails because they're fungible. Both currencies are one-to-one backed by physical gold. Now, you can either hold those currencies or exchange them at par for physical gold. I mean, that is what used to be, the US dollar used to be backed by physical gold. the yuan and the ruble are backed by physical gold. Now you net this out. The ruble price of gold is consistently around $10 higher than the local London benchmark price. I've looked at it again today. It's every day. It's around $10. And alongside the yuan price of gold is consistently around $5 higher than the intraday local London price. That's netted out. Now, prior to local London fixes becoming Basel III compliant in January 2023, it was not unusual to evidence, if you remember, we used to see $50, and in fact, as high as $100, but we used to regularly evidence $50 higher prices, yuan gold prices, than London, and how this regularly drove a massive arbitrage opportunity as underpriced Western exchange traded fund and COMEX gold and spot gold, unallocated spot gold, was drained to capitalize on these real world premiums. Therefore, due to its global fungibility, and this is the key because gold is fungible globally, when the price of gold in yuan is higher than the LBMA fix, nations seeking to pay for or deliver commodities in exchange for their national currencies, they'll simply buy London spot and arbitrage the difference. This has created a backwash into the LBMA fixes, forcing really unwanted discipline upon it, because the unallocated gold in London, other than at the fixes, has up to a 20% haircut. Now, as we drew attention to during the BRICS summit, backed by central bank sovereign and fresh safe haven physical demand, China's expanding Shanghai vaulting network that's been established. It's being established in Singapore, in Hong Kong, Saudi, Russia, Brazil, Africa, Southeast Asia. It's global already, and they're already, this group, these vaults have already aggregated sufficient physical market liquidity to benchmark a global, physically determined supply-demand gold price to be locally delivered. Now, tokenizing BRICS collaborations into stablecoins and backed by real assets, along with a race to secure as much gold as possible to back the value of each nation's foreign exchange currencies, provides the BRICS nations and their counterparties with a very liquid 7-second settlement process, maximum 7-second settlement process. And bearing in mind that you've got vaults around the world where you literally a T+0, because it's fungible, a T+0 delivery can be moving gold from one side of a vault to the other nation's holdings place. So while everyday BRICS pay transactions that people look at are not directly backed by a weight of gold, they're ultimately underpinned by a yuan gold standard. So sales of goods and services and commodities are valued against gold. So that's how they're benchmarked, and then directly convertible into physical gold. This is what is going on. It's just not realized. Ultimately, with gold increasingly backing real-world assets, the US administration, we said last time, they've got two choices. Either head into a losing battle against the global majority, which kind of is what they're attempting now with all of the BRICS nations under the crosshairs for tariffs and one thing and another. It's going to backfire. Then the only other choice they have left is to revalue gold to compete. So the four precious metals being benchmarked at the global facing FX fixes have now secured really sufficient physical market liquidity to force the LBMA CME cartel to become price takers. So, and guess who's setting the COMEX price right now? So as we've just highlighted, really, the Fed is once again facing buying back borrowed Bank of International Settlement gold leases into a 17-month series of physically determined higher prices And the last tool in the toolbox, we're just pointing out, is blunted, and there's just not enough speculators left to lay paper gold liabilities onto to offset how much unallocated gold and silver is being alchemized by China and Russia right now, right under our noses. Well, that really just leaves one question. We global gold and silver buyers are no longer in the minority. We used to be. We're not in the minority anymore. So my question is, have you also joined the global majority movement who are as quickly as possible converting their rapidly depreciating debt-backed fiat currencies for physical gold and silver? That's my only question, guys.
All right, that wraps up.
So the question is, are we becoming Rumpelstiltskins, which we already are? So we're way ahead of the curve. I'll have to watch this again because I really, when I look at his questions, gold sell-offs engineered by physical, and then he starts showing, I did not get what the fuck he was talking about with these charts. The charts confuse me. Bricks buying overwhelms paper gold. Well, we know what that is. All right, so let's go to another video. I see. I don't like when he does the charts. You're like, what the fuck are you saying? I get the stair steps, but the real question is, when's it going to blow up? That's what we want to know. Is why do they keep shorting the gold? Now we get at the end of the month they short the gold, and then Bricks lets it happen, and then Bricks buys it now. But why is it stuck at 3,400? Why can't we get more than, let's see if we got over 3,400? You know, why now? It's August 8th, and why are we still, let's see where we're at. All right, so it's back to 33.96. So it had a 10 o'clock drop down to 33.84, and it was a double. It went up a little bit there to 33.88, and then that's the double kicker you're worried about. But then when it started to go up, it kept going. So it's 33.96. But the question he's not answering is, why doesn't it go over 34? Why are they blocking it at 3,400? It's over 38.30. All right. So let's ask Mark McGwire that question. I'm going to ask him.
If you're planning on buying a home anywhere, Southeast Michigan, including the areas on this map, here's how to get access to
The yuan and the
All right, so here's what I just wrote. So first one is, why does COMEX block gold at 3,400 and silver at 39? When will COMEX collapse already? We don't need future markets, just free markets. Then I went into this one. Please stop using your charts. They're very confusing. Just say why. Why does the U.S. each month drop the price? It's illegal and should be stopped. When will BRICS start physically price gold and silver to get real prices? So those are the questions. I find his response, like, it looked good. Oh, well, here's why this is that, and BRICS is doing this and that at month end, and he never explained it. He shows that on a chart, which doesn't explain shit, not to me anyway. I want to show you this one with the women. All right. It's called Silver.
In order to really understand how staking works, it's important to remember that blockchains are decentralized.
To reward, yeah.
All right, it's called Silver Squeeze 2.0 is hitting Wall Street where it hurts. But they're just clueless. They don't really understand.
Silver prices are jumping fast, over 30% up this summer because demand for real physical silver is outpacing supply. Now, big investors are pouring money into silver ETFs like SLV, and industries like solar and EVs need more silver than ever, but now it's getting harder and more expensive to borrow or find real silver, which is why lease rates are spiking. Okay,
Yeah.
Amy, so go.
Yeah, something weird is happening with silver right now, guys, and it's kind of
The fuck is she talking about? Something weird is happening with silver. It's being price fixed by COMEX. She doesn't even get that. What the fuck is she doing on here?
synonymous with what we saw with GameStop, for anybody who remembers that or anybody who trades stocks. I actually started paying attention to this now 2 weeks ago. A friend of mine was over the house and he was talking about how his grandmother's financial advisor called her and literally said, hey, I strongly suggest that you take a portion of your gold and you move it into silver. And she's like an old lady.
Never sell your gold for silver. Is this where you guys get this shit from? Should I sell my gold for silver? You take your dollars, you take your monopoly money, and you Rumpelstiltskin it into gold and silver. If you want, take this into silver. You don't sell your gold at these cheap prices. Gold's 3,000 going to 20. Why would you sell it for silver? Even if silver moves, it's a $40 item going to what, 2,000. You can make a hell of a lot more money keeping your gold in gold.
I don't know about any of that. She asked Daniel. He was like, no, definitely don't do that. He told me. I then went to one of my friends who is extremely knowledgeable in the markets. And before I go further, I feel like I need to legally preface and say this is not financial advice, obviously, anything that I am about to say here. But so just last week, guys, July 16th, big banks tried to flood the silver market with 483 million fake ounces. Yes, fake.
Wow.
And we're going to circle back to exactly.
They're not fake. They're paper. Now, they're not real, but they're not fake. They're options. Again, she doesn't know what she's doing.
What that means, but basically it was the bank's desperate move to be able to bring down the price of silver because they are all massively over leveraged on it right now in various different short positions, but it backfired. Literally the market laughed it off. Price stayed stable at $37. And so
Okay, it was BRICS, so she doesn't even mention BRICS. Why would anybody listen to these idiots? BRICS is doing their buying and they're selling, yes, to get out. And then they ask her which banks. We'll keep
now
going.
The internet is calling it out. They're calling this silver squeeze 2.0.
It's not a silver squeeze.
Yes, that does imply that there has been a prior squeeze in the past. Shortly after GameStop, the people who were involved with that project, after that kind of dwindled, they turned their attention to silver. When that happened, there was an 8-year high, but the squeeze quickly fizzled as the market absorbed the pressure, and the institutional resistance on that was very, very strong. This time, though, we are in a completely different set of market conditions right now. The banks are once again over-leveraged, way more over-leveraged than they were back when the first silver squeeze occurred. And so let me just break all of this down, explain what it means. I'm going to try to explain it in like simple, elementary terms that anybody could understand. So the first thing to understand about all of this is that all of the world's banks, not just within the United States, but they are massively, massively over-leveraged on silver right now. They're in these short positions, hoping that it's going to come back the other way, and it just quite simply has not been.
But why is that? Like, are people privy to what the banks are doing, and they're like, "Oh hell no," and then they're investing more in silver?
Silver just hasn't.
I would short silver if the banks were shorting silver.
So let me
like, oh,
explain.
they know the system's rigged. We're shorting silver. Check.
So let me explain the difference.
Not do the opposite. Right.
So this is where the difference comes in with investing when you're talking about ETFs and then the actual tangible asset, right? So last week, banksters dumped 369 million paper ounces, which is 40% of the global supply of silver, in a 30-minute frenzy to try to smash the price down.
Which banks do you know?
Every single major institution.
Bullion banks, fucking idiot. JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, USPS, the one in London, Citi. I mean, they're the bullion banks doing it, not every bank.
Basically, like we saw it out of London, we saw it out of the United States. I'm going to go into each of the individual ones.
These bastards shorted silver, so now they're trying to artificially flood the market to ensure that it drops and they get their short.
Exactly. Yes, basically. Let me finish off. Okay. So by the end of the hour, guys, so within 30 minutes, 40% of the paper ounce supply, okay, and then by an hour it climbed to $483 million. Ex-users were all calling it out. You guys remember that for GameStop they had their community that they were all voting
on Reddit.
Yeah, same thing.
Who cares
Everyone
about
was calling it out
GameStop?
as blatant manipulation. But again, price did not budge. We can actually go ahead and show this Reddit chart that I have up here, please. If we could pull this up, and we're able to see the amount that the banks.
I love your emojis.
I didn't do that one. This is somebody within the Reddit community. But guys, this is literally just last week. So basically, hedge funds are shorting the stock. They're betting that it's going to go down. And with GameStop, we saw the same thing, but this time it's sneakier because they're selling paper silver, which again, this is different to physical silver.
So what is it?
With,
What is a lease? Because silver's a commodity that you can invest in.
Yes,
What's
like
that's
ETFs.
the whole point. Yeah.
For ETFs, so like
ETFs that have silver in the portfolio.
100%. So basically, they are paper trading. It's like basically selling like 100 tickets to a concert, but only like 4 people could actually get in. So people are buying this silver, but if they were to go and cash it, there simply is not enough physical reserves for what is being purchased. Okay,
that should be illegal.
It's called a Ponzi scheme, as we know. That's why I tell you, don't buy ETFs and don't buy stocks. Just buy physical. It's not that hard, folks.
It is, but
it actually is.
And you know what?
It's illegal trading practices.
But people think,
like, how is this possible?
Well, can I kind of blow your guys' minds? Like, people think it's the same with our digital currency, that when you deposit your money at a bank, that they put it in like some cute little copy where it's like safe and waiting for you.
They invest it.
They take that money and they invest it into the foreign exchange markets. About 20 to 30% of every single bank, their major revenue comes from trading the foreign exchange markets and the stock markets with your money.
Never keep more than $250,000 in one bank. I mean, that's not,
Never keep more than $2,000 in a bank. If she thinks she's going to say FDIC or secured, if she thinks the government has $250,000 for everybody, she's out of her fucking mind.
Well, it's not FDIC insurance.
Yeah, because FDIC insures up to $250,000 that you've put into a single bank.
Yeah. So basically, most paper trading, retail investors, and even on a higher level, it's done paper trading. It's not actually you're buying the physical asset that you can hold in a safe or anything like that. And quite frankly, there just isn't enough silver supply in the world right now to be able to accommodate all of these various different orders. And so
creates the illusion of abundance, depressing prices, even when there's physical shortages, and it is full-blown market manipulation. That's crazy. I mean, look.
I emphasize again, it is free to join my community. The stocks I share are also free. The techniques and
That's crazy. I mean, look, the stock market, and especially like these hedge funds and these banks and these financial institutions, they play all sorts of games.
Oh, yeah.
And then in the end, when their big gamble falls apart, what do you think happens? The federal government comes in and bails them out.
More debt.
Right. Yeah. I also I think we got to mention the AI piece right now, because AI is a juggernaut right now and driving so much demand for electronics and silver.
Right.
Yeah, silver is an essential component. There's nothing.
Yes, but we know that, but it's being price fixed, JP Morgan and the boys, but it's paper silver. They're just realizing this like now. I've been talking about this for 5 years. This blows me away that they're just now figuring out COMEX is a Ponzi scheme. That's why we've been buying gold since it was 1,700, because we know what's going on. We know the boat's going to sink. We know you get into the lifeboat, and we know you buy physical, not ETFs and not stocks. It's all manipulated, all of Wall Street. The whole thing's a game. What she doesn't understand is they'll never give you 250,000. The government has no more money to bail out the banks because of the inflation, which they don't understand. They don't understand the key point, the inflation. That's why we're buying gold and silver, because the dollar's worthless, but they don't understand that. All right, let's keep attacking this.
That a few banks, I don't care if the bulge bracket banks, there's nothing they can do to override the overwhelming power that AI is driving. That NVIDIA itself is driving the American economy forward right now. It's become behemoth. And I think that's part of the reason why silver is so much in demand.
100%. You make a really great point. Like silver.
No, it's in demand because of inflation, because it's real money, and gold's getting more expensive. It's not for Tomahawk missiles, which you didn't get, and solar panels and Nvidia. That's not why silver's in demand, but that's not why the price is much higher. Is because should be much higher because it's being held down by the COMEX options. So it's like way over. So they're doing this, and it's way over their head. But I want to explain.
Is at this point, it's in higher demand than gold for its practical uses that they actually need it for in order to be able to run society. Solar panels, chips, so many different things that they need silver for that go beyond jewelry and the things that gold is utilized for.
And solar.
100%.
Another reason Trump put a big tariff on coppers, because we're needing it for similar technologies or the same technologies.
And so right now, all of the investing community, they're gathering together exactly like they did with GameStop. They're posting about it on X, Reddit, everywhere. And they're like, let's drain the system, boys. And so last week, we actually saw London's vault bled 110.2 tons last week. Apes, which is like the big level investors and institutional buyers, snapped up physical silver, which made premiums spike over $5 to $10. And then, some dealers are even running low on inventory at this point. So they're pushing. The more that the banks are trying to lower the price, the more the retail investors and everybody else are trying to push it up. And it's creating this squeeze, like with GameStop. And I want to throw to
All right, she's a fucking idiot. It's BRICS is the one pushing the price up. What we do in the retail investor, as I've told you, we could all go buy 100 tons of silver, would not move the price. The price is not moved by that. It's the options. And it's BRICS coming in to buy the options is what moves the price. So it's hard to listen to idiots like this. Here's my comments. Silver is money you buy because the USD is worthless. Idiots, my normal thing. And I think I had another one or two. I think I replied to somebody. I don't know. I thought I did one more. I thought I had the clueless one. Oh, and then never sell gold for silver. Silver is price fixed by paper silver options. So I'm like trying to explain to the class here what they don't know.
Now, because I know you're going to make the analogy between that and GameStop.
Yeah, so with GameStop, what ended up happening was, like, GameStop is a company that a lot of young people, especially young investors, retail investors, have a lot of nostalgia for. They didn't want the company to go under, and they noticed these major hedge funds and financial institutions shorting the stock, GameStop stock. And first of all, let me just say, the whole point of the stock market is so ordinary people and sure financial institutions can invest in a company they believe in so the company can grow and do things with that money, right? Expand, hire people.
Go public.
Right. Shorting is just literally gambling. Like, I am betting that this company.
God help us, idiots like this on here. Shorting is not gambling. If there's if Coca-Cola and they realize that the Coke causes cancer, which it does because it's sugar, then I would short the stock because I know the demand for the product will go down. What is wrong with that? All companies are not good. So if prices are going up, you should short the stock. Thank you, David. I say, because I understand what the hell's going on, and when I see people like this and people are watching it, they can't explain it. They don't understand inflation, which is my pet peeve. How stupid people are who want to do finance shows on YouTube or whatever. Reichert, Rick Rude, Peter Schiff, Andy Scheckman. They don't even understand what inflation is. It's printing the money. Egon, I think, has been listening to me. He gets it now because he never used to say it. And now he's starting to say, oh, it's just printing the money. I go, yeah, where did you get that from? Mark McGwire, I think, listens too. He kind of gets it. Alligator doesn't get it, but he's starting to. But that's what's happening. The demand, first of all, the price is not, me and you could go to the store, wouldn't affect the price. Secondly, there's no silver squeeze. We could all run out and buy silver. Like I said, it won't affect the price. It's only done when BRICS buys the options that the bullion banks are shorting. So JP Morgan and Citi want to short, they want to put the price down because they got to get to their options to get out of their options. They're all screwed. If you're in Citi or Chase or JP Morgan, they're fucked. Their stock's going to go to nothing. They'll go broke because they're going to lose trillions of dollars in these shorts that they shouldn't be in the leveraged options. They got caught playing the game where London would buy and London would put and they would short. So they would want the price to go down. London would buy it up. Okay, it works, Madoff, until physical buyers. And that's what BRICS is doing. What Trump is doing here with his BRICS thing, all he's doing, he doesn't want the gold-backed currency out. This is basically, he can't, like he blew up Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein for going to a gold-backed currency because the U.S. can't compete with it. But now Trump's in over his head. What's he doing? He's trying to start all these wars because he doesn't want them on the gold-backed currency. That's what everything's really, really about. And he can't because he's fucking with Russia and China who have nuclear weapons and Iran and Russia's backing them. And this one on Africa I showed you yesterday where they made another thing. I'll show you one other video on them today. So anybody that has gold, Trump knows we're in big trouble. But Trump, for some reason, the only reason they're buying gold is to pay off these derivatives because it's now Basel III and they have to. Because it's China and Russia and India and Saudi Arabia buying these options that go down at the end of the month. So the question I asked Mark McGwire is, why does this keep going? When does this end? When do we get $10,000 gold already? When do we blow up COMEX? So everybody knows it's fake, yet it's still going. And I understand that JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon and Citi run the government. And so they're not going to shoot themselves in the foot. But at some point, their banks are going to tip over because they're broke. because they have to deliver. So if there's any gold in the U.S., it's to pay off these options that they have to. These countries are taking delivery on and want the physical gold. Because why else are you in? Why else would you not be in COMEX is to buy gold cheap? Because it's a lot cheaper there than it is anywhere else. That's why they go and buy it. But this whole thing where the U.S. is pricing it based on options is the biggest fucking Ponzi scheme I've ever seen. This makes Madoff look like a Boy Scout. All right, I think that's enough of these gals. Well, one more segment.
Is not going to do well.
Right.
I think that should be outlawed, to be honest. But do you think so? Basically, you have these hedge funds betting against or shorting GameStop, and then retail investors are like, no, invest, and we're going to buy and hold GameStop stock. The silver squeeze is a little different, though. I think there's something, and this is my conspiratorial mind working.
Did you see that? YouTube has been blocked in Russia. Amazing. We didn't know that. So Russia's not getting all the info that we're getting. It's blocked because of shows like me and shows of these other guys. So she doesn't know a lot what's going on with the war. I have to tell her that. So all I was doing was sending her my Egon one about gold and freedom and everything. So because she knows I have gold and trying to understand it and explain it to her, which I think she gets. But for them not to have YouTube, maybe TikTok, I don't know. But that's a problem. So they're blocking, so nobody knows what's really going on. All right.
Yay!
I know.
I'm
Entertain it. I mean, at least, Yeah, well, okay,
it.
so here's the thing. If there's this higher demand for silver and it's just going to keep going up because of AI and the need for that commodity, is it possible that these banks are giving this illusion, like they're shorting it to convince the markets to also sell their stock?
That's what I would have done.
So then they can come in and snatch up silver.
That's
exactly
brilliant.
what I would have
But
done.
it's not working. So what are they going to do when everyone is pushing so much? And literally by the week they're posting the actual silver withdrawals that people are taking out of vaults as people become more privy to this information. And we have to understand that the more physical supply is gone, it's just going to keep pushing up.
Wow.
And that's such go on.
She's amazing. What a bunch of idiots we allowed you to. No, she's got it all backwards. Silver, everybody could see in GameStop. You have to see that's a free market. The stock market's more free market. If you buy shares of GameStop, you push the price up. Not in silver and gold, we cannot run and buy options. If we buy physical, does not push the price up. The only thing that puts the price up is JP Morgan and the boys and BRICS who are buying the gold, pushing the price up. It does not. We could all buy 100 tons of silver would not move, or gold would not move the price, because the price is in free market. They don't get that point. They totally over their head. They just don't know. I can only help them so much, but they don't understand it. So no, and they already did the shorts. So they're trying, now when you see it go down a little bit, they're trying to get the price down to get out of their options, but they can't because it's so far down. And BRICS is sitting there going, fine, fuck you. We're gonna buy your option and ask for delivery. So there's two parts to the option, as we saw on Eddie Murphy on Trading Places. They're shorting it at 3,400, and then BRICS is coming and buying it at 33.50. So it drops a little, and then they come in and buy it because they're buying it cheaper. If they can get delivery of it, which they probably can't, but that's why the U.S. is doing the delivery. Okay, enough of these clowns. So here's one last thing on our African friend.
Everyone's out here with their linked firms shut down in one morning. At exactly 7:00 a.m. in the capital city of Burkina Faso, the silence broke. No warning, no press release, just a convoy of military trucks rolling toward a modest building on the edge of town. From the outside, it looked like any other office: beige walls, a foreign logo, a few quiet men in suits inside. But that morning, the truth came crashing in. Inside were encrypted phones, hard drives, documents all seized by uniformed officers. The building was a shell, the company a front. And the target Israel. For years, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had built a quiet web across Africa, not with tanks or soldiers, but with contracts, intelligence sharing, and so-called aid carefully designed to harvest data sway governments and map the continent's untapped resources. Until now. Because last Thursday, President Ibrahim Traoré, known across the region simply as Troy, didn't just expose the network, he dismantled it. 7 Israeli-linked firms shut down in one morning. Surveillance equipment hauled away, foreign diplomats declared persona non grata, and no one, not France, not the US, not the EU, dared say a word. Traoré didn't issue threats, he issued action. And then he stood before the cameras and said just one sentence: Africa is not your blind spot anymore. So we ask you, is this the boldest stand against foreign interference Africa has ever seen? And more importantly, is this the beginning of something bigger? Let us know in the comments where you're watching from and what this moment means to you. Share this video if you believe Africa's silence no longer means consent. Subscribe to Heroic Africa if you believe the truth matters more than the headlines. Because this isn't just political analysis. This is history in real time. The moment everything flipped didn't begin with a speech. It began with silence, the kind that only soldiers understand. On the outskirts of Ouagadougou, just as the city was waking up, a convoy of matte green military trucks pulled off the road and quietly surrounded a 3-story office building. There were no sirens, no shouting, just boots hitting pavement and calm, calculated motion. Within minutes, uniformed officers entered through the front doors. The staff inside, mostly foreign workers in suits and ties, barely had time to look up. What they didn't know was that this was Target 1. Inside the building, agents uncovered exactly what Traoré's government had been tracking for months. Rows of servers humming with intercepted data, encrypted phones, satellite relay logs, and reports written not in French nor in local languages, but in Hebrew and English. Buried beneath the corporate paperwork was the truth: this company wasn't a telecom provider. It was a shell fully operated and funded by Israeli intelligence gathering signals and
So you don't think that's happening here? Anyway, so it shows really who's really behind everything. It's Israel and it's London are really running us. You can see what Trump's doing. And here they are. And you wonder why Africa's poor, because they keep stealing all their gold and their oil and whatever else they got, their minerals. And I like this guy, this Faso guy, whatever his name is, Ibrahim Traoré. Doesn't take bullshit. He's very stoic, it looks like, and he's saying, "Get the fuck out." We because they had no control over their own country. This whole little mission where 50 people got killed was because of what's going on here. So he's taking action. He's saying, "Get the fuck out. We don't want you here. We don't need you. You're hurting us." So imagine somebody's listening in on all your conversations on your phone, on your internet. Who the fuck wants that? So you got to get rid of them. And that's what he's doing. He's very cleverly saying, "Get the fuck out." And he's taking charge, which is what I kind of indirectly tell you to do with stocks. Stop listening to these people who don't know what they're talking about. These 4 ladies, a chart guy, a financial planner who looking at chart data going, "Oh, look, it's going up," without really understanding why. Stop listening to them. They're not in it for you. They're in it for them. They want commissions. These 4 ladies, they're 4 idiots. They don't, what are they doing on? And yet they don't understand inflation and they don't understand physical silver. You cannot buy it. We cannot go buy it and make the price go up. McFly, anybody home? I don't think anybody's home there. So it's just amazing how stupid these shows get. But what I worry about is people listening to these idiots, right? And I used to watch the Silver guy, the Yankee Doodle Dandy guy, and so gold will never go over 2,500 by the end of the year. And now it's at 3,400. Yeah, so let's listen to that guy. So you've got to be very careful who you're listening to. I'm trying to give you the fundamentals. Now you can go out and listen to Peter Schiff or Jim Reichert or whatever, and you should laugh at them. You shouldn't like, oh, I'm going to listen to this guy. You can't do that. You can't look at a guy who looks at charts and say, oh, I'm going to buy gold or I'm going to buy silver. I'm going to buy Coke or I'm going to buy Disney based on the chart. You got to understand why is the price going up if you're going to deal in stocks, which you shouldn't be dealing with. It's paper. Just buy your physical and sit back and go enjoy yourself. You have no risk in the portfolio. You'll never wake up going, oh shit, the stock market crashed, because that's going to happen. Oh shit, the banks won't let me get the money out. 250,000 because it's FDIC approved. Are you out of your fucking minds? If the banks start crashing, they will not get. They'll do what they do with Madoff. We don't have the money. So what are they going to do? Go after us? Well, wait. You guys made money betting football, so you got to give it back to us so we can pay the guys. We can, what is it, clusterfuck, where the people that made money in Madoff had to pay the losers out? What the fuck was that? No, if you got in early and you made money, you took a risk. You had no idea it was a Ponzi scheme. You can't say you knew it was a Ponzi scheme just because you're getting 15%. If I hit a lot of winners, as I do quite a bit, I'll go 10-0, 2 weeks in a row, and have a bad week and go 10-0 again. I did that last week and last year. In 4 weeks, I went 10-0, 10-0, 7-5, 10-1, 10-0. Is that a Ponzi scheme? Fuck no. I'm showing you the games and I'm showing them on my history. No, it's real true. But it can happen. So if some guy can actually pick stocks and you're making money on it, it's still a risk. You don't know he's doing a Ponzi scheme. So why would I have to pay back the money I made? That's ridiculous. The whole thing was ridiculous. JP Morgan was involved. The SEC was involved. Well, since the SEC, that's my favorite. The SEC cleared them. So therefore, I invested in Madoff because the SEC cleared them. They're in on it, mother idiots. That's why they cleared it, because they're in on it and they make money. And all the Henry Villasay, the guy from Europe, who had all the kings and queens and jacks and all the royalty in Europe, he was getting commission on it. That's why he pushed it. And so he fucked all his people because it was, I don't know why, he knew it was a Ponzi. Anyway, please understand what's going on. Don't be so surprised, and don't stop listening to people that you can't talk to, that can't explain it to you. If you see a guy and he's looking at charts, or it's Martin Armstrong, who's a Ponzi schemer, he did a Ponzi scheme. The Larry Fink, you want to listen to that guy? Jesus Christ. You want to listen to Trump? You want to listen to Scott Simpson? Forget about it. You got to know what's going on, and then does it make sense to you? And if there's something that comes up, ask me. That's what I'm here for. But you've got to be kidding. That's why I show these videos of these 4 ladies that are fucking clueless. I mean, they have the right concept, but they don't really understand the shorts. They don't understand that you could buy all you want. It doesn't matter. If we buy silver, gold and silver is not priced at market. Now, Canadian Club, if we all wanted to buy that and we all bought it, it would raise the price, but not gold and silver. It's options. That's what you got to realize. All right. What else do we got here? Well, it's good to see I'm still on, because I was worried about that. So anyway, so this is with Africa. Look how they responded. Instead of running away, they're throwing Israel out. They threw out the U.S. They threw out France. Now, with all the gold, will that make the gold price go up? I don't know. They're not really buying it. They're just pulling it out of the ground. So, yeah, maybe it will. Again, it doesn't really matter. Like when Russia produced, it's who's buying the stocks right now, the options that are making the gold and silver go up. It's not really the mines. Now, you want to buy silver and gold mines and you think I'm buying it and they have a lot of silver. No, because China is buying, they're going directly to the mines. China and India and Saudi and Russia, they're going to the mines and they're emptying the mine out because they get the doré and they go to Switzerland and they produce the bars and the coins. So I don't know about a silver mine having an inventory of silver. I'm not sure that they do, or that China is, because when they're going right to the mines to buy, they don't have any inventory left. So be careful playing these penny stocks or these silver miners, gold miners, even Newmont Mining. Just stay with the physical. I don't get it. Well, I can make money. You can't make money because the money you're making is fucking monopoly money. And when the market crashes, which it will, you're going to lose money. You're making money now, then fine. At least give me this. When we go to Vegas or we go to the casino, I take 300, I play poker. If I get up to 500, 600, I'm being very careful, ready to leave. And if I'm playing roulette and red's hitting and I started with $300 and now I'm up to 600 because red's hit 10 times in a row and now black's starting to hit, I'll play the blackout. I'm putting 300 or 400 in my pocket. And then when it starts going south, I leave. When I stop getting cards in poker, I'm looking at 2-6, I leave. You must have an exit strategy. Bitcoin, when are you going to sell it? Well, I won't. It'll keep going up. Oh, I got oceanfront property in Detroit for you. What the fuck are you talking about? Bitcoin will not keep going up. Especially what'll happen is it's in dollars, so it'll go to zero. But as the economy tanks with the tariffs, which is a depression, because anytime you raise cost, even if it doesn't raise prices, if the company that had the cost increase can't do a price increase because nobody will buy it, they go out of business. Well, if my cost is 10 and I can only sell for 8, I'm out of business. That's still going to be a depression here. That's a guarantee. We're already in a depression. So stocks go down. People that need money then start selling their Bitcoin, selling their stocks. That's what happens. You got to sell your assets so you can eat and pay your rent and pay your bills. So you need money for it. You'll probably lose your job. So you're going to be, what assets do I have? Oh, my stocks. Well, those are getting tanked. So the winner is the silver, the Bitcoin, or the silver and gold, the Rolex watches, the Mantle cards. Those are what will save you. Things that can't be price fixed. The price fixed things won't save you. Like the Bitcoin and the stable coins are a joke. They're not real. And your stocks aren't going to help you. The money in the bank won't be there. So, you got 500,000 in a 401k, you're fucked. You better get the hell out and buy gold and silver. What do you got? Your risk is that the stocks drop because you're in stocks, right? So your mutual fund goes down. The risk in gold is zero. Oh, they can push it down a little, but you can see bricks pushing it up. All right, so let's take a look. What's our gold doing? We're almost there. We're almost at 3,400. It's so close. And they keep shorting it. It was 3403, 3401, 3401, and now 33.99. Trying to get to 34. And that's the question I asked Mark McGwire. Why is somebody holding it at 3,400? Don't tell me they don't want the price of gold to go up. You got all the gold that they have, 70,000 tons. You want the price of gold to go up. That's just bullshit. Silver, 38.27. Again, why is it being held down? Let's look at the silver chart. What is this? It got up to 38.46. And what's all these up and downs here? What's with this big down at 2 a.m.? It goes 38.33 to 38.15 to 38.38. What the fuck's going on there? Look, what's these games? They're buying and selling options. What's going on here? It goes up to 38.39 and then 38.27 and 38.33 and 38.27. It's all manipulation and options. This is fucking ridiculous. This is not physical. Nobody's selling. Nobody's selling gold at 6 o'clock in the morning, which is Europe, 31.01 down to 33.83. Let's say down $20. You think anybody sold gold then? Fuck no. Then it goes up to 34.01 again, the magic number, and then it goes at 10 o'clock to 33.82 again. But then it goes right back up. Now it's 33.99. This is sitting there. So Mark McGwire again says, oh, if it hits 40, it'll go to 50. Well, you said 37, then you said 38, then you said 39, and it keeps pushing back. Now he's sitting there with these stair steps. Oh, it's okay if we have stair steps. And you're like, no, that's not okay. That's still bullshit price fixing. When will the price fixing end is the question. Don't give me these charts. I couldn't follow his charts, and then he talks in riddles and rinse and wash and haircuts, and what the fuck is he talking about? You got to listen to him 2 or 3 times to understand what the fuck he's talking about. He's not clear. He's not crisp. And, I'm ready to say, okay, what does these mean? Haircut, casino chips. I know what casino chips are, but I don't get how what are you talking about? You got to go back and say, here's Comex. It has so many chips. Why does it have so many chips? And then you have all these options, and they're selling tons and tons of silver that doesn't even exist. Why is this allowed? And when does it end? That's our questions. That's what everybody wants to know. Well, it isn't doing anything, so I'm going to go buy stocks because it's not doing anything. Well, fuck. We know it's price fixed, and we know it kind of goes end of the month and that. Why does that happen? Why is that being allowed? Oh, BRICS is being smart and they're letting it drop and then they're buying it. Yeah, but they're not. Okay, it was 3280 and it's now 3400. Why is it so low? Why has it been 3400, 33-ish for a month now or 2 months? That's bullshit. So what do you mean they don't want the price to go up? So is it all the central banks playing the game, keeping the price low so they can buy it until there's no more left, and then it gets into a game of all physical because there's no more bullshit to buy? And that's why the U.S. is buying the gold is to pay off the options. It's not to go on a gold back currency. If we had gold, we would be it. That's my Fort Knox thing. If we had gold, what are we waiting for? We got 37 trillion in debt. What are we waiting for? 50 trillion in debt? The interest to be $2 trillion a year? What are we waiting for? Who would do that? Why would you wait? Just, you can't pay it. If you had it, you'd use it. So that's why I don't believe you had it. And that one idiot O'Dowd said, oh yeah, you think we have more because we, well, if Gaddafi lost his gold, obviously we took it and put it in Fort Knox. Are you an idiot? We don't keep our gold. We sell it to China. We rehypothecate it. So the gold in Fort Knox is China's gold, not ours. And I'm sure China will ask for it back if they haven't already. And Germany, France, and Italy just asked for their gold. So anyway, so I like this guy. He's a good guy, this guy. Ibrahim Traore. And nobody's talking about this. Here's Netanyahu, didn't see it coming. He's in trouble. We already kicked the U.S. out. So Netanyahu, now we find out he's a busybody. So it's been it's been London, the U.S., and Israel trying to run the war, trying to run everything. That's why we're in war, is because of these 3 idiots. And they need to be stopped. So maybe this guy can stop them. He's throwing them out, which is good. And the U.S. with no gold, he's got gold, which is good. And that's what you want. Anyway, so I think that's it. So I'm hoping I got everything and I didn't get that internet issue. Let's go through baseball one more time. We got Houston today, Detroit 3 units, Philly over 7.5, probably should be an under, but we'll see. Minnesota under 8.5, Milwaukee under 8, Arizona over 9, San Diego 3 units, Seattle under 7.5, and Toronto under 9. All are 2, except for Detroit is 3 with Skubal. If I was managing Detroit, Skubal would pitch all 9 innings. because he's my best player. And why would I want to take my best player out? Oh, he might get injured. I don't think like that. I play to win. He could get injured in the first inning. He could blow his elbow. He could do it in the third inning. He could blow his elbow. That's the risk you take, but he's pitching all 9 innings. I don't care what a pitch count is. Nobody has a pitch count, and I'm not bringing in a lefty to pitch the lefties because that doesn't seem to work. And I'm not pitch hitting a guy who hits 180 for a guy who hits 290, a.k.a. Kerry Carpenter. I'm pitch hitting with the guy who's hitting 190. What, are you kidding me? And notice all the Tiger batting averages are dropping because they're probably fooling them on the pitch cheating that they do, where they read the pitches. Anyway, so that's what's going on. We'll come back tomorrow with preseason and look at who's the quarterbacks. This is what you take out of it. Cincinnati played Burrow and Chase. They're pissed, and look for them to start strong because they're starting now, not week one. Like the Lions will start week one, and they're 3 weeks behind everybody who played. Burrow, Mahomes is playing today. Now, it's not going to be, he'll probably do 2 series like Burrow did. He doesn't get hurt. Once in a while, he hurts his ankle or something, but he never has serious injuries. But in this case, are they playing the number one defense of whoever they're playing? I doubt it. Stafford supposedly better with his back. It's not as severe or whatever. We'll see. And then, certain teams Dak Prescott sucks no matter what. So you just laugh at that. But that's where we're at. Personally, you see, I talked to Daria today, which is always a pick-me-up. As far as fasting, I'm not even counting the hours right now. I couldn't get into my suit, which was 20 years old, so I'm taking it a little drastic. And so I started. So the interview was Monday. I sent a thank you yesterday. I'm waiting. Who knows? I'll probably hear the end of next week about the Ford component sales job. So I'm fasting to get into my clothes because sometimes you don't. I wear shorts and I wear my shirts and they fit, but when you have to fit into more dressy clothes, you don't wear them that often. So everything's fine. I'm wearing that. I'm fitting into my bathing suit every day. I look maybe a little bit heavier, but not bad. And so you get fooled. So now I'm like, okay, I'm pissed. I'm going to get into my suit. That's my goal. I don't care if it takes a week. I'm fasting until I'm skin and bones. So basically, didn't eat yesterday at all. Did not eat today. And I don't plan on eating today. I had 2 glasses of water and a coffee. And I went to the lake and I walked the farthest I've walked in a long time. My back was fine. My feet were fine. No more gout. So I was really happy. And so I probably walked a little over a mile, and I haven't been able to do a half mile before my back hurts. So I did that yesterday and went to the golf course, and I chip and putt a little bit, starting to get back into. I can't swing. I mean, I can just chip, but I can't. If I took a driver out to swing it, my back won't let me. So I'm trying to get back on that. And anyway, so I'm not going to eat today. My plan is to eat Chinese tomorrow night for dinner. So that would be 72 hours roughly. But I'm not sure I'll eat dinner tomorrow. I might not eat till Sunday, or I might not eat till Monday. Right now I'm focused into the fast, so I'm going to keep going. So as long as you have, so this is ginger in there and cinnamon in there and some lemon I poured in. So I'm getting that. And I took my Celtic salt this morning and my lemon with olive oil as a drink, which doesn't really affect the fast. So if you want to clean up, now this is probably the first time I'm trying to lose weight with it. And what happens with your body is your body without food looks for food. And so your body goes after your fat and starts eating it because that's stored food. Fat is stored food. So if you're eating chocolate chip cookies or cake and ice cream, your body stores it up. That's what your fat is. So you've got to let your body eat it. And your body eats it when you're hungry. The body's used to food, looking for food. It can't find it. So what does it do? It starts, oh, there's food in my fat because that's where it's stored. So I'm going after that. If there's bad cells in your body or you're hurt, it'll heal. Just fasting will heal your body. So I'm not going to eat today, and it'll be 50-50 if I eat tomorrow. We'll see how I am. When the walls start moving, I might, or I'll have more water and tea and coffee and stuff like that. But that's all you can drink. You just can't eat. So it's not as bad. People go, oh, you can't eat for 2 or 3 days. I couldn't do that. Well, but I'm having water and I'm having tea and little coffee, little flavor, but no sweetener. No, cinnamon's it, which is okay. It's healthy. And lemon, I don't know if that's flavor or not. But I won't go to dinner tonight. I will, again, I'm not sure if I'll eat Saturday. If I'm really cooking, if I can go. Last time I did a 70-hour fast about a month ago or a couple weeks ago. And I could have went to 90, 24, 40, 96 hours. I could have got there. I didn't have to eat the third day, but I did. And so I will not make that mistake tomorrow. If I can last till Sunday, I'm going to do it. And then Sunday will be, I will pick up Chinese food and have that on Sunday. I have chicken I'm going to make, which is fine because I'll eat it tomorrow or Sunday. I pulled it out of the freezer. I like cooking when I can't eat. It's good. Just seeing the food makes you feel good. The gold and silver, I might go to the gold store today just to see what's going on. When I get the Ford job, if I get the Ford job, then I'll celebrate by buying gold and silver. So I have money in my safe, but I'm the type that keeps it there and waits on it. And, I hold it back as long as I can. I don't just spend it because I'm not going to get more in until I get back to work. So that's what I'm going to do. So hopefully we'll hear next week about Ford. I thought it went real well. I sent the thank you, but I don't know the CFO's name. I only know her first name's Amy. I don't know her last name. So I sent an email to the HR person, said, can you please forward this to Amy, the CFO, and Anita, I think was my boss. What was her name? Anita? Yeah, Anita. So I kind of gave them both, like, thank you for meeting with me, taking your time off and everything, which I don't even know if you still do. It's just like wearing the suit. I don't know if I needed the suit. The shirt and tie, I would suggest at least wearing a shirt and tie to the interview. But if you got a suit, wear it. Again, looks make the difference. So you do that. Anyway, I think that's it. So I will let you go. Again, preseason football. Kansas City is a dog with Green Bay over, Tampa Bay, San Diego, both home dogs. Detroit over with the Rams, home dog. And we played Oakland yesterday with Cincinnati. So I lost to Cincinnati. Got a little, they had the 14-7 lead on Philly, but their defense sucked. And Tanner McGee played pretty well. So let's give him some credit, but he was terrible at Stanford. Anyway, that's it. So have a good day. Enjoy your weekend. Relax. Enjoy. Buy your gold and silver. Get out of the fucking paper markets. Get out of your stocks. Get out of your Bitcoin. Get out of your bonds. Get out of your dollars. Get out of your real estate trust. It's all collapsing because BRICS has gold. And now, as he said, China and Russia are now gold-backed currencies. So the dollar's collapsed. That's why Trump's doing all this shit. He's trying to stop BRICS from going gold, and BRICS is laughing at him going. And all these tariffs, all they're doing is bankrupting the U.S. What you created is BRICS is now trading amongst each other. So China and Brazil are trading soybeans and all this stuff, and oil. They're all buying oil from Russia, and they're the natural gas, buying from Russia. So BRICS doing it. There's nothing Trump can do. He can't put sanctions on it because they don't give a fuck. You can't tariff these people because they're not selling to you. And nobody wants the US dollar because it's not worth anything. And they're all trading into gold. So the US has no cards to play. Trump's an idiot. There is one thing I will show you. I guess his wife. Watch this video. Trump goes nuts after Putin. They're saying about his wife that she's kind of just a gold digger who Jeffrey Epstein put them in touch with Melina. So Melina is just, I think she's Ukrainian, and she's just with Trump for the money. And Putin's telling that story. So anyway, that's what you got to know. So if you want to see that one, maybe I'll play that one tomorrow. All right. So I'm hoping that I got the full 2 hours on there. So have a wonderful day. Questions, comments before I leave? Please feel free. That's why I do it live. I want the questions and comments. I want to know what you're not understanding, or do you understand everything? And I think most people, because I don't talk like Mark McGwire, you understand it. And I show you Egon so you get the flavor of what the hell is going on. Those are the people you should be watching, not Reichert and these 4 idiot women and everything else. All right. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. www.teaserking.com. There's no football picks yet. That'll be August 23rd. That week, I'll have the college games that I bet on, and then we'll go to the following week when it really starts, that Labor Day, and then the pros will be posted the week of their games. That's a Thursday nighter, Philly and Dallas, and that Monday or Tuesday, those games get posted. Anyway, so that's what's going on. All the prices is up. You want to buy Teaser King, you can go ahead. You can probably wait a week or two, but you can buy it. Again, if you want the season for $750, you want to pay me $300 and $450, or $250, that's fine. I realize there's a recession and there's inflation, but after you win, you can go buy gold and silver with the winnings, and that's what I do. So anyway, have a great day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Take care.